Good morning, everyone. How y'all doing? I just want y'all to know, to state facts. Benji and I have been out here. I've taken 2 selfies and not one car, which is a bit different. Usually, as soon as I step out, there's a car. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's around 6:55 a.m. here in San Antonio, Texas. The weather is nice. I think I may go to the zoo today. And maybe go to Kimmy's tomorrow. If you're wondering. Anyway, how's it going? How are things? Oh, there's the first car. Anyway, about mood stabilizing. Does the crack go small? Well, yeah, I did. Anyway, how's it going? I don't have much to say as far as planning what this video is going to be about, but I went on Twitter this morning, so maybe I can discuss that. Excuse me. As far as what I've seen on Twitter, Kid Rock paid a visit to the Oval Office. Okay. And of course Peter JC was there. And they shook hands. A very eventful day yesterday on Twitter for the White House. At least what I saw. I don't know. He was alone. Kid Rock was alone. So, anyway. So there's that. And there's the White House Correspondence Dinner. I guess there's a lot I could say about that, but not really. As far as there was a comedian, and then they decided not to go with that comedian. Not just her as an individual, but with a comedian tradition. A comedian as the host of the White House Correspondence Dinner. They decided to just not do that this year. I think is how that turned out. So, you got a certain reputation, you're kind of like living your life like a normal person. You're not really like in politics. Your identity and your livelihood doesn't really revolve around it, right? Maybe an act of Congress or something like that. It'll like affect you in your life personally. But if you're like just like a normal person living their lives and stuff like that, and not really in politics, it's not really like maybe an argument could be made that you're better able to objectively have a conversation about politics than somebody who's ironically, it is their job to talk about politics. But I think that's something that people have known for a long time now. It's not anything new. So, and of course it's a mixed bag. I mean, I'm sure by now people can have finely tuned their skills of listening to the news and political discussions and opinions in this day and age, for whatever reason, right? was watching this thing on cable news. It was like, side note, it was like, I can't remember, it was like PBS or something like that, or I don't know, some sort of like, it wasn't C-SPAN, I don't think, but maybe it was. C-SPAN 2, maybe, I don't know. And it was a book discussion, and somebody wrote about, she was a Democrat, and she wrote a book about Trump. It was before the most recent election, and I think it might have been a while ago. But anyway, she said that Susie Wiles, she joined the Trump campaign, the campaign for the November 2024 election, as a volunteer. And I just thought it was an interesting discussion because somebody asked something and they were like asking something in a way that was like, they literally said, I don't know how to ask that. And then the author of the book says, oh no, I totally get it. I understand what you're saying. But anyway, my point is, I trailed off a bit, but my point is, I guess journalism and what politics are like today. I mean, people, I think, what if the comedian didn't really want to have that job? What if it was a no-win situation for that comedian? I forget her name. Caroline Levitt posted a clip of it on her Twitter. I can't remember if it was her personal account or the press secretary account. And then they talked about it on The View yesterday, Monday. So what if maybe she doesn't even want to do it. Maybe they really couldn't hire anybody. No offense against her or anything like that. She was a Democrat, and she made it very clear in that little clip that they showed on The View, and also Caroline Levitt posted, that she was not a Trump Republican. But I'm just wondering, like, what if they couldn't get anybody? What if people didn't feel like being very funny? There is somebody in that window over there. So there's a house. I'm looking like the NIC school bus route. Somebody's in that window. That's how I'm walking over here. Which brings me to my next point, but I'll talk about it. So yeah, I'm wondering if maybe nobody wanted to do it. Maybe it was a situation of you need to have an adversary. Because I think that's something that 45, currently 47, is known for. Banjo! Is having an adversary, right? Somebody has to be there to be insulting. Not just intellectually, not just politically, but they have to be there insulting him personally, right? That is something that we know about the reputation since 2016, right? A manner of politics in which arguably was not there previously, right? And maybe that's just a work environment, right? And maybe it's slim pickings in that work environment. Maybe. Stunning from The View. So, yeah, I just want to bring that up. And then I wanted to bring up Department of Defense Alyssa. So, people going to be wondering, you have a certain job. She talks about following Mike Pence. She didn't used to talk about it. I mean, I didn't watch The View a lot, so I mean, I could be incorrect, but from what I've seen of what they post on Twitter, and what I've actually watched and tuned into. Because sometimes I like the tweet just because of the headline, you know. But recently she started talking about her time with Mike Pence. So, well, that's new. And she hasn't really given much about it, other than Mike Pence was given respect. And other than that, as far as her Department of Defense, nothing, no further details. She's talking about security clearances. She's talking about people should be losing their jobs. Not people, specifically one person. So, to me, I'm thinking, well, that's kind of obvious, right? You're not going. Sometimes they like group people together when they're not on the same team, even though it looks like they're on the same team, so they can kind of skirt by as far as reputations go. But they're not doing that there. Secretary of Defense. So I just think it's funny. You know, we all looking at Alyssa. She's really not making much sense. She's really not, you know, I hate to even say articulate, because her ideas are just so terrible. She thinks maybe she sounds more articulate because her ideas aren't as terrible as Sunny and Sarah's and stuff like that. But I would disagree. Anyway, you sound as articulate as Sunny and Sarah, Alyssa, from The View. But anyway, I'm just over here sitting here on this, formerly known as NSA school bus route. Not one penny, not 1 cent, wondering exactly what the culture is and all that about. And so I'm just like, you know, maybe they didn't take you very seriously because maybe you didn't have a serious job. Okay? Maybe it was not such a good look for Mike Pence to have you following him around everywhere. But maybe he didn't have another choice, because 45 wasn't going to let you do it. Maybe. I mean, are we all thinking it? I'm the one that just said it, or what? So, anyway, I just thought that was funny. She hadn't wrote a book. Apparently she's on The View now, but apparently after the 45th administration, she said she had a hard time finding a job. Sarah's father, I think, works for The View or something like that. Who was a Republican. And again, the differencing of parties is like with Sarah, it's like, well, she's pretty much, you can be Democrat or Republican, but it's you're all in the same party. But if you're pro-Trump, then you're an entirely different party. They're not going to say that, but as a viewer, onlooker, that's what I gather. Oh, Benja. He's so cute, right? Anyway. Yeah, I got Air Force over here. I got, I think, a bronze medal sometimes over here. Got He Who Shall Not Be Named truck over there. Very unpleasant walk yesterday on Squaw Creek. And if you're wondering, my mom said she had no idea there was a school bus. So you didn't notice there was a school bus twice a day, morning and afternoon? She said no. On that note, who do y'all think's gonna move into that house? Not this house, but that house? Who y'all think's gonna move into it? And obviously they're not gonna know who I am. Right? If you knew who I was, you probably wouldn't be allowed to move in there. And why would you want to? Anyway, see, I just thought it was funny. I said, you know, Alyssa Farah, you're not really known for your intellect and logic and reason and strategy and consultation. So what are you known for? Here I am guessing, right? Should I just say that? I think maybe she a hoe. I think if she's professional at anything, it's not with the Department of Defense. Okay? And yeah, looks like slim pickings at the White House Correspondence Dinner. As far as maybe if that is a career building opportunity for comedians. I think this political divide, I think, is really interesting. Um, Maybe people are not going for this whole, but he's a Republican, but he's a Democrat, starter of a conversation. One second. So yeah, maybe she a hoe. I can only imagine the conversations being talked about me for lots of reasons. I know there's positive. If y'all are wondering, I know that there's positive conversations about me, but I'm just saying, as far as maybe it's her job to be a hoe. Maybe. I say your job. I'm saying like a general you, but to include her. What if? Because there was this big steel dossier scandal about golden showers in hotel rooms. I'm watching the Mile High podcast, which I've watched since its creation, since its debut, and enjoyed. And they're doing a segment, a part 2 segment about Diddy. His trial's coming up May 5th. Did not get bail. But anyway, I think in New York. Anyway, that was a thing, right? That was a hard-hitting aspect of the 2016 campaign. As far as the 2024 campaign, I don't know. I didn't see anything like that. And as far as me being here, obviously I wanted to be a part of that campaign, obviously. So, is this about politics? Because let's discuss politics. Is this about making money? Well, then let's make money. But here I am. Maybe it's not about any of those things, right? So anyway, maybe there's like hoes in everywhere. And no judgment, but obviously a judgment when you don't know your lane. Say you don't want to advertise being a hoe? That's odd. I wonder why. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's what is it? Hillary Clinton's, what was that? Her secretary's husband's something, co-worker, and stuff like that. So, and she couldn't get a job. You couldn't get a job after you were with the Department of Defense, and you're speaking extremely negatively about the Trump administration, and continue to do so, and not in an intellectual, logical, reasonable way, in my opinion. But anyway, she replaced Meghan McCain, so obviously I'm very sour about that. Obviously, automatically, it's like, I don't like you. Where's Meghan McCain? Okay? But anyway, what else? Yeah, maybe it's slim pickings. Maybe, there's not a lot of people who maybe think it's the appropriate time and place to further their career by being a part of this White House Correspondence Dinner that honors journalism for the sake of the relationship between the White House and free press, right? So, which is why they get comedians to be lighthearted, because it's a very serious job, serious topics of discussion, but not this year. And I'm wondering exactly what aspects are involved. Yeah, that's basically it. I think Alyssa might be a hoe. I think she might be a Washington D.C. hoe, but maybe now New York. I don't know. I'm just guessing. She might tell me about. She's got a niece out there, and how dare I say that? Watch it. That's gonna be a part of it, right? Okay. Does your niece watch my videos? My YouTube videos? My tarot card videos? Anyway, yeah, 47, very serious. Very much a business, New York style business. Um, I guess you can say has been my mentor, shining example. And that's good because it's a tough world out there, right? Anyway, and of course I'm gonna be are you hoe? Who do you know that's also hoe? Get away. We are a happy home, a happy family. You better get out. Take 10 feet, take 10 feet back, okay? Anyway, yeah, I guess that's all I got to say today. Uh, it uh, upsetting conversation, but I'm not surprised. But if you wanted to know, it didn't make any sense other than me, my two sisters, and my mom got to have some time together, and stuff like that. So we've been eating good these past couple of days. I'm surprised how many times we've had been eating at a restaurant or fast food, and not having to eat at the house via the grocery store. Surprised about that. So the timing was off. The conversation, it was unforgiving and unrelenting. It was this absolute, I'm not a public figure and celebrity, not for my political commentary, not for my artists, not for my tarot card, and not for everything that happened on a live stream before 2021. It was just an absolute nope, that never happened. Here is your life, and you need to accept that type situation. And if you try to question that, obviously I don't have Google, or I have Google, but I can't Google myself. I can't say, look at how many people follow me. I don't have access to that type of evidence. Okay, I just don't. You tell me what that's about. Department of Defense ho. So, it was just an unrelenting, not giving up, not backing down of this. You are mistaken. You are a 37-year-old adult female living with her mom, unemployed, because you have schizophrenic issues. This whole idea of I have any more to my life other than that, completely non-existent. And it all started, they pushed that, and they pushed the dog situation. So I was just like, you know what? I feel really great living in this neighborhood. I feel really great about the prospects of a second set of new neighbors. This is just what fun I'm having in my neighborhood. They're just stupid. I'm looking at all this stuff, like, I can't, that's a really stupid move. No wonder they didn't give you any clearance. Department of Defense, hell. I'm gonna start calling her that now. Why not, huh? And she's a Republican. They keep doing this thing. I think what I've done is really kind of smart, if I do say so myself. So I used to be progressive liberal, and then I switched to the Republican Party because my husband and stuff like that. Um, and I just didn't believe any of the Democrats anymore. I said, "You're just telling me all this stuff, and I don't believe you. Why are you saying these things when I don't believe that you're being truthful about it? I feel, why are you saying these things? I feel like they're helping you more than they're helping anybody else, right?" So then I went to the Republican Party for lots of reasons. I think I've probably already explained in these chit chats I have with y'all, and then y'all discuss. Um, so I think it's very interesting to go after Republicans like that, especially in the Trump era. If you don't know, that was what Trump, a lot of people who, politicians included, were talking about Trump. They said there's fake Republicans out there. Um, so I think it's interesting, this lane that I have, where it's just like I don't like the Democrats. I don't. There might be a few people who I'm like, I listen to you and stuff like that. Uh, but for the majority, I'm like, how are you any different than AOC? Who's, we all know by now, is not genuine at anything. And she told everybody as much when she bought her Tesla. I think it was around the time Thomas Massey had a Tesla. She bought a Tesla, but she was still paying off her student loans. I said, "Girl, maybe you should have waited a couple years, because those Tesla prices went down, and now people are setting them on fire." Anyway, so yeah, I think it's interesting how it's been a reputation of the Trump era to be kind of calling out Republicans and stuff like that, and that's something that I think I've been doing. But apparently I can't have, so I think that's an interesting lane, because as far as being stuck in a box and stuff like that, um, obviously still kind of, if there are guidelines, unspoken, especially to me, guidelines about the political discourse and ideas and opinions I can and cannot have. I'm still kind of in a certain lane where it's like I've turned away from the Democrats, especially financially. Would not support. So I'd rather, if I don't have any money, but I would rather donate to individual organizations than to a Democrat. I say that because I get a lot of texts that say, send $20 to stop Trump. I get like 5 of them a day, and those are the only texts I get. So, other than my mom, Tracy, and Kimmy. Anyway, so yeah, I just think it's an interesting lane I'm kind of in, as far as actual Republicans who are, fighting the good fight. Obviously, I'm not going to have much to say to you. All like this, maybe a future conversation would be great. But yeah, other than that, I'm just gonna be calling out people are things that I'm just like, that math don't add up, kind of situation. Anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess I'll stop trailing off. Y'all have a good one. I'll talk to y'all later. Happy Tuesday. If you see me at the zoo, obviously say hello. If you recognize me, I may even ask you for a photo. If not, just realize I'm always on the lookout. I'm always on the alert. I'm always at the sake of being called schizophrenic, always thinking that there's somebody following me because they can't leave me alone. And they want to cover that up by saying I'm schizophrenic. But anyway, just realize that's my mindset. That's where my head's at. Yeah. Y'all have a good one. I'll talk to you later. Happy Tuesday.